Yeah, this is point black. Coming in hard and off the card, coming with the flow straight from the barrio, and coming with the heat from the damn street. This is PBNN Point Black National News, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well, because this is what we must do at all times. You know what I'm saying? In many ways, we've got to seek out these things that is making it, you know what I'm saying, our government seem like it is just bent on destruction. You know what I'm saying? Because when we look at many things, like today we have a report coming in, you know what I'm saying, on 100 million will die in minutes if nuclear war breaks out in Russia or China. You know what I'm saying? This is coming in by Column Horse, I think, 23 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time, coming off the Irish Star. You know what I'm saying? Which is, you know what I'm saying, the Irish Star is dropping this one. But, and in his message that they are sending, or she is sending, I think it is, you know what I'm saying? I think it is. It might be a he, you know, Colonel, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But in the message that was bringing, it's the same message in which I said before. You know what I'm saying? But in a more exportical way, let's examine what Joe Biden and his creepy ass son has got us into. You know what I'm saying? By going over there and even putting Zelensky in power during 2016 when Trump was put into not, you know, into the White House in chief of commander seat. You know what I'm saying? Zelensky was also. And then after that, what took place was a series of meetings and different things that took place that caused, not only caused, but was a part of the plan, I should say, that was planned up when Zelensky took office in 2016. He was also the Luciferian blood-sucking deep state idiot that was supposed to go along with their communistic bullshitical way. Not the same as Putin and them, but a whole nother faction that seems to be bent on Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? Which is not real, because Armageddon has to be made up by someone or some people or some group that caused that to be a factor in our life. But according to what is said, it's the same thing that I was saying before. Now let's check out exactly what this individual is saying about this. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to check out everybody's words and comments and views and expertise, just like we would like our own to be. But in this matter, from what we're seeing, it says, you know, saying in more ways than one, what he's saying, an expert has issued a chilling warning, you know what I'm saying, about the threats of nuclear war, stating that hundreds of millions will die in just minutes. Same thing I said. They're going to be incinerated in minutes to ashes and dust. You know what I'm saying? Annie Jacobsen, you know what I'm saying? This is Annie Jacobsen speaking her words. Annie Jacobsen, an author who has written several in her messages, have written several several best-selling books in itself. You know what I mean? From what we see and hear. You know what I mean? She has written several best-selling books. You know what I'm saying? On American military, number one, on American military. You know, best-selling books on America's military explained that if Russia or China missiles launch is detected, the U.S. president would have just 6 minutes to make a decision, to make a crucial decision. You know what I'm saying? Which is true. You know what I'm saying? She revealed to the podcasters, Lex Friedman, that the current U.S. policies to launch on warning means that retaliation would happen before there was time to ask questions about why the initial alert has been triggered. You know what I'm saying? And furthermore, we see Vladimir Putin humiliated as Russia loses nearly 800 troops and dozens of vehicles in one day. You know what I'm saying? We see also ISIS appeals for Russia killing of Christians and Jews across the U.S., Europe, and Israel, which is Africa. Israel is Africa. You know what I'm saying? But she went out to say, you know what I'm saying, initial alert had been triggered. You would only have seconds to even deal with that in a timeline to ask questions about initial, I was feeding the olives. Launch warning means that the retaliation would happen before there was time to ask questions about why the initial alert had been triggered. You know what I'm saying? Triggered. We are one misunderstanding, one miscalculation of calculations away from, you know what I'm saying, from nuclear Armageddon. There we go again. They love this Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? Because they created that. There is only one way to have an Armageddon to begin with, is to create it. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at, you know what I'm saying, what she's saying here in this matter, she is saying, Annie Jacobsen, who has written several best-selling books on America's military, explains that if a Russian or Chinese launch is detected, the U.S. president would have only 6 minutes to make a crucial decision. She revealed to podcasters Lex Fridman, you know what I'm saying, that the current U.S. policies of launch on warning means that retaliation would happen before there was time to ask questions about why the initial alert had been triggered. We are one misunderstanding, one miscalculations away from a nuclear war. You know what I'm saying? Away from a nuclear Armageddon, as she put it. And no matter how nuclear war starts, it ends with everyone dead. It ends with everyone dead. She warned. The U.S. Defense Department has an early warning system, and a system in space is called the SBIRS. You know, spurts or whatever. A constellation of satellites that is keeping an eye on all America's enemies, reported the Express US. You know what I'm saying? So the moment and ICBM, you know what I'm saying, in a stellar ballistic missile launch, you know what I'm saying, they see the hot rocket exhaust on the ICBM a fraction of a second after its launch, and so there begins this horrifying policy called launch on warning, and that's the U.S. counterattack. The reason that the United States is so I guess the word is miraculously or whatever, ferociously watching a nuclear launch somewhere around the globe is so that the nuclear command and control system in the U.S. can move into action to immediately make a counterstrike. The policy launch on warning is exactly like it says. It means the United States will not want to absorb a nuclear attack. It will launch nuclear weapons. This is what Creep Joe Biden and his son has gotten you into. You know what I'm saying? Armageddon, it would immediately launch. It will launch a nuclear attack. You know what I'm saying? Armageddon. And no matter how nuclear war starts, it ends with everyone dead. Everyone's going to die, period. So like I said, prepare to die. You know what I'm saying? She won. The U.S. Defense Department has an early warning system and a system in space, you know what I'm saying, that will take care of that situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, the horrifying call, the horrifying policy call launch on warning that the U.S. has a retaliation against it. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. You know what I mean? Weapons, the weapons in response before the bomb actually hits. In the past, there has been times where Russia or Americans forces were ordered to launch a nuclear strike, only to find out later that the order was given by mistake. I wonder how that happened. Former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, in this matter, you know what I'm saying, previously questioned, you know what I'm saying, whether it's sensible to start a nuclear war based on a blip on a radar screen. The best sort of hitting the nail on the head statement is in the president's hand, I guess. Is in the president. 1 second, people. Is in the president. Is in the president. Is in the president. The head statement is in the president Ronald Reagan memoirs, she said. He referred to a 6-minute window and called it, irrational. He called it irrational, you know what I'm saying, in more ways than one. He said, how can anyone, this is Ronald Reagan, he said, how can anyone make a decision to launch nuclear weapons based on a blip on the radar? She said, unlike what we see in films, a nuclear missile can't be called back or redirected. Once the launch button has been pressed, something President Reagan himself didn't know, you know what I'm saying, didn't know, the effects of the nuclear explosions are still not widely understood, she said. And the resulting mushroom cloud would pull in people from miles around and hurt them and pull them in from miles around and hurtle them into the sky. Like I said, when the bomb hit, your body gonna be flying into the sky. You know what I'm saying? As when it flies into the sky, as it pulls people in and hurls them into the sky, as they burn to death with the horror being repeated in cities across the world. In cities across the world. So she's saying that when the bomb hit, it's going to hurtle people into the sky, you know what I'm saying, hurtle them into the sky as they burn to death with the horror repeated in cities across the world. You know what I'm saying? The United States has 1,770 nuclear weapons deployed, meaning those weapons could launch in as little as 60 seconds and up to a couple minutes. Some of them on the bombers might take an hour or so. You know what I'm saying? On the bombers might take an hour or so, she said. Russia has 1,674 deployed nuclear weapons. Listen to the nonsense that the America really started it, because when she started making atomic bombs and bullshit and then dropping on Hiroshima, the world saw that and everybody ran for nuclear weapons because they didn't want America to bully them. Because America and the demon Democrats in our government love to play the bully role. You know what I'm saying? Talking about going around the world, spreading democracy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, spreading bureaucracy. You know what I'm saying? Russia has 1,674 deployed nuclear weapons. Same scenario. Their weapon systems are on par with ours. That's not to mention the 12,500 nuclear weapons among the other 9 nuclear armed nations. When the weapons detonate 300 when the weapons detonate 300 miles per hour wind would cause carnage. You know what I'm saying? She said. While they over there entertaining Zelensky and giving him, you know what I'm saying, money and all kinds of shit. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. We see Putin even send barrels of oil to Cuba. Remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? You know what I'm saying? You know? We see here where you're talking about people miles out getting sucked up into that stem. When you see the mushroom cloud, that would be people, she said. She said that she's interviewed dozens of major political and military figures about the concept of nuclear deterrence. And they all agree on one thing, and that is, they all agree on one detail. Every source I interviewed for this book, from the former Secretary of Defense Nuclear Subforce, Commander Stratcom, Commander FEMA, Director, Nuclear Weapons Engineer, you know what I'm saying? FEMA, you know what I'm saying? Nuclear Weapon Engineer, you know what I'm saying? They all share with me the common denominator that nuclear war is insane, she said. It's insane. So why would creepy Joe Biden be entertaining Zelensky against a nuclear nation that has 1,000, you know what I'm saying, maybe 1,674 nuclear weapons all around the world, and many others, you know what I'm saying, putting us at peril when many of those nuclear nations will be obliterated just like we were, or they're going to obliterate each other. You know what I'm saying? If a U.S. president made that fateful decision to strike back, countless lives would be snuffed out in less than, it'd be snuffed out in less time than it takes to play a game of football. First millions, then tens of millions, then hundreds of millions of people will die in the first 72 minutes of a nuclear war. And then comes nuclear winter. Oh yeah, freezing your ass like a popsicle, where billions then die from starvation. So when we look at what Biden them has done, okay, where Trump had this thing with Putin and many other nations, you know what I'm saying, on good terms. In come this idiot, and the first thing he does is put us in a nuclear war. Oh yeah, that's what him and his son did. You know what I'm saying? and trying to tell us that they didn't. Yes, you and your son did. You went over there, or you planned this out. You went over there to make sure that Zelensky did this and did that. That's why you brought him to the White House. You see what I'm saying? And you're feeding him weapons and all this stuff to go up against Russia in order to push a nuclear war on the United States. This is creepy Joe Biden. Because like I said, rather than be caught up for their crimes, they'd rather blow this bitch up. When Trump put that shit on them, and started exposing a lot of their shit that they were doing for 47 years, 50-something years or better, including the World Trade Center and the many other situations that they put us in, he also scared the shit out of them. This is why they had Zelensky as a backup plan of Armageddon if he exposes them or win the election. So they are ramping up Zelensky with weapons and money. United States people are paying for their own death through their taxpayers' money, because Biden ain't got no money to give them. He's taking your money and giving it to them. Billions and billions of dollars collected from every United States citizen and many other people that come into the country that work and pay taxes. So he's using your money to destroy you, while you vote for him on some bullshit, talking about a swing state and all types of other garbage, giving him any kind of support. We see that many people are very foolish in the idea of nuclear weapon. I just read to you what an expert said. This will happen. None of y'all or none of us will make it, period. Because you can't outrun it, because y'all are still partying, hanging out like it's no tomorrow. So we have to start looking at this situation for the better of understanding that we must cause a ceasefire in Ukraine and make Zelensky back his crooked, bud-nosed, twisted, garbage-looking ass and make him go sit down and quiet this whole nuclear shit down. And that goes for China and all the other countries who are nuclear nations must rethink their position in having these type of weapons of mass destruction that they are going to use on people. I hope even they, who is called themselves a leader, is going to survive. Maybe they're going to the moon or somewhere else. But as far as I know, ain't no space program for niggas. You know what I'm saying? So black people need to start to even get involved and make sure that you do not vote for this man or give this man any kind of win in our government, because he has put you in a nuclear war situation. This is what they were talking about when he said his son went over there and was doing energy deal. It wasn't no energy deal. It was probably over there paying him, pushing him, talking to him, telling him to constantly push for the NATO alliance. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to be a NATO alliance city or city in the backyard of Russia, which is still in Russian territory, right close to Moscow, and then now NATO and 34 nations can bully Russia into putting nuclear weapons right in Putin's backyard. This is something him and his son did. You know what I'm saying? This is him and his son did this deal. And I don't understand why his son was even involved in any shape or form of dealing with our foreign affairs other than the President of the United States or the President or those that were qualified to do so. His son should not have been over there planning up any fucking thing, his crackhead ass, because he's suicidal any fucking way. You think he really cares? You know what I'm saying? That crack fucking head idiot. You know what I'm saying? And this is what y'all are doing. You know what I'm saying? You think you're going to survive this, or America's going to be able to annihilate Russia before Russia lets off her 674,000 missiles, nuclear missiles, coming from all over, even in submarines under the sea, and so on and so on and so on? You really think that? You have too much confidence in the demon, democratical, bootying, bloodthirsty, sucking ass bullshit. You must grow up. It's time to grow the fuck up and start to see the lemon for the lime, because it's sour. You know what I'm saying? What was they doing any kind of deals over there? Same thing with Hillary Clinton talking about she's Secretary of State. You know what I'm saying? And abandoned SEAL Team 6 and said that it was terrorists and left them over there to die. Soldiers, that was over there doing her bidding and left them over there to cover it up. She left them over there and abandoned them and probably got them all killed. You know what I'm saying? So they don't run them out when they get back over here. But people found out. You know what I'm saying? And as a secretary of so-called, which she's not to me, she's a secretary of murder, killing, blood sucking, and pedophilia and child sacrifice. That's basically to me what she is. You know what I'm saying? What was she doing that military thing, and then gonna turn around and say, you know what I'm saying, in the Benghazi scandal and all this different stuff, that they were terrorists, when it was proven that the soldiers was just trying to get the evac, which I wouldn't have left them. I would have went back and got them. And shame on the military that you did not extract SEAL Team 6. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the mission was, you was not to leave a soldier on the motherfucking battlefield. You backstabbing son of a bitch. How dare you leave soldiers on the motherfucking battlefield? Under the fucking god of a bitch. Calling herself a Secretary of State. What the? Calm down. And this is what you call a military? Where soldiers are abandoned? To cover the shit up? Like we never seen that before? So we have to grow up here. I'm sorry to say. It's time for us to start to look at this thing from a more better perspective. And not in emotional. Because when them nuclear weapons hit, you're going to be flying into the air because the vacuum will suck you in, shoot your ass up into the air, and burn you to a crisp in seconds. There will be no football. There will be no basketball. There will be no TV. There will be nothing left. And if anything is left, in come the freezing and the starvation that will wipe out the rest. So why would Biden and his son be in any conflict with Zelensky or a Russian oligarch's wife, switching money back and forth that they do not have, that they took from the American people taxpayers' dollars to pay for their own Armageddon? What the fuck is that? That's bullshit, y'all. It's bullshit, y'all.